the high school coaches, the supporters, the grassroots people, these meetings have just been fantastic.
How are you able to get enthusiasm without even playing a game here?
Well, the recruiting's going well, and they're excited about that. I think they liked what they saw in the spring game. Our media staff has done a tremendous job of putting stuff out so they can see that our players are happy and they're working really hard, and there's got a lot of enthusiasm in practice, and a lot of the guys have been out to practice. So I think all that is really leading to the enthusiasm.
What's been happening after spring practice?
What happens now is everybody gets on the road. All the assistant coaches are out evaluating the 2020 prospects and the 2021 and now the 2022s. It's amazing how far ahead recruiting has gotten. So our coaches go to a different school or 2 or 3 different schools every day. They get to watch them in spring practice, and then they report back to me. I'm doing this. I'm trying to raise money and sell tickets and get support, and they're out there trying to get football players.
How big a challenge is it to generate the interest and the excitement, like Charlie said, without having played a game yet?
You know, in some ways it's better because there's hope and there's belief, and we got a tough schedule. We've got a press conference tomorrow about the South Carolina game on August 31st, but I just feel like that people remember the 11 wins 4 years ago, even the 8 wins coming after that, and then they've been disappointment the last 2 years, and they're ready to get it back. So we're here at a good time because everybody wants to do everything within their means to help us with new facilities and help us with with season tickets and fill the stands. So it's been very, very positive.
You've been very accessible, and your players have been accessible. After every practice, we could request guys and we'd get them. Is that also a part of the mission of generating more interest by getting more stuff out there? The more we write, the more videos we post, the more interest there'd be?
It is part of it, and also I think my 5-year journey with the media helped me understand that you guys have a hard job to do, and it's my job to try to help you. And I want our players to get exposure because every time you interview them, that's basically an interview for a job for them. And we've got smart young guys, and football players have their helmets on. You don't get to see them much. So when we can get their helmets off and let people see who they are, I think it really helps our program, but also helps them in their future.
You've been around this program before, and I just wonder, does it ever surprise you how frenzied this fan base can get in such a short amount of time?
No, it really doesn't, and that's one of the things you like. And when a coach comes in, you need to stir things up, and you've got to stir your fan base up, and you need to get a frenzy for season ticket sales, and we're spending money on facilities, and people need to help us by paying. And really and truly, football and basketball are your revenue-producing sports. So when people are paying for something in football, they're really paying for all the other sports as well because we've got to generate some money, and we haven't made as much money as we needed to the last 2 years in football.
Do you have any specific message during this Guardian Tour to the fan base out there?
Well, the message has been we're going to believe in our team. We're going to be disciplined. We're going to play hard every week, and we plan on winning every game. You know, some of the fans will laugh and say, "You play Clemson," and I said, you know, if you don't believe that you can beat the national champ, then why play the game? So it's not always the best team; it's whoever plays best that day. So our message is that we're not planning on trying to rebuild. What we're planning on doing is being a good football team in the fall. Give it everything we've got for our seniors, and hope we can send them out with a great season.
A few days after you were hired, you had the Hall of Fame, and then you had the early signing period, which is the first time you've dealt with that. Have you had a chance to kind of scale back a little bit, exhale, and kind of take a little load off for a few days?
I really haven't. It's been funny because a lot of these meetings, people are asking me what's different. And every time I've said early signing date. I mean, that thing is a monster when you come in new and you're trying to get to know your team, and you're trying to get to know what recruits that you're already involved with, and who do you want, who else might you want, and who are you going to hire. And so it's just been absolutely crazy. But then we're already behind on the 20s, the 2020s, the juniors. We're behind on the sophomores. So it is a constant process every day. I watched probably 25 videos today on prospects that are that are sophomores from 2021. So it never stops.
When we talked to you last after the spring game, you said you were going to have the close spring interviews with all the players. How did that go? And do you kind of have a better gauge of your team after having those interviews now?
It is. I think we've built up a lot of trust. and respect with our team. We're able to communicate better because they're telling us what they think more than they did, and that's pretty normal. And I feel like in all the conversations that we've had that they have a lot of hope for the fall, and they understand we have a tough schedule, but they're ready to go. And Coach Hess had a couple of months to get started with strength and conditioning. We've got to do a tremendous job from now until we start getting them stronger and faster and more flexible.
Mack, can you give us some insight on, after evaluating everything, what you thought about the quarterback battle with Sam and Cade and James?
I feel so blessed in our quarterback situation that we've got three that can all play. I told all three of them after the spring practice that I would have recruited you everywhere I've been. You're all good. You all have something better than the other ones, but you're all good. And that we're going to figure out in the fall which of you can put the ball in the end zone the best. And the problem you've got with three that are the same age is you always worry about the transfer portal, and the ones that play will stay, and you worry about the others, and I hope all three of them stay. But we're blessed to have this opportunity. We're blessed to have this situation, and we've got to handle it well. So Coach Longo and I have to do a great job of figuring out which one needs to play in the fall and trying to manage the others as well.
You're going to have an event tomorrow where you're going to be talking about the South Carolina game. We won't be there with that, so just kind of put yourself up of just talking about selling the South Carolina game here in May.
Well, we've had tremendous ticket sales from what I've been told, and it'll be a national TV game. I'm not sure of the game time yet, but it's South Carolina does a good job recruiting in our state. We've signed some guys from South Carolina and committed some, so it's a game that will matter in recruiting. Coach Muschamp and I worked together for 3 years at Texas, so we're friends, and it's a huge game to start your season. And weirdly enough, when I was here in 1988, our first game was South Carolina at South Carolina. So it's kind of like history repeats itself, but it should be a fun way to get started.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.